It is the last day of June. It's June 30th, 2016 right now. I believe we are 14 days after Tupac's birthday. And this is important because I want people to see what I've discovered.
Not mob like Italians, but mob like we've been mob orientated all our lives. Fuck that shit they be telling me about, because everybody's saying because we choose to be organized now that we are emulating Italians, we should emulate Italians because they don't like us. Motherfuckers got it twisted. You know what I mean? We got organization because we peak game. And it's not the mob really that we seeing, it's really the government. They the biggest mob. That's who we study. Governments. Just like me, they say this guy's Mr. Duplicity. He's always saying this good shit to the females, and he say ho and this and that. See, that's where you're wrong. First you tell all the niggas, they tell him Too Short, he never say nice shit. And they telling him he's a horrible person. I say one bad shit on one side, a good shit on the other side, and I'm Mr. Duplicity. What does the world want? They have to sit their politically correct ass down and figure out what it is they want, because they bullshit.
Okay. Y'all already know, based on what Tupac said, he talk about both sides of the field. He talks about the good and the bad. He feels as though rappers should not talk about one subject and not talk about the other side of the subject. It's just like if you play football, you got to play both sides of the game, the defense and the offense, in order to understand the game. Whereas if you're going to talk about violence in your lyrics, you got to talk about the consequences of violence. If you're going to talk about pain, you also got to talk about success. You got to talk about both sides. That's what Pac was about. So let's listen in again.
All the time. I'm really into books. I'm into the part. Right now, I'm into Mastering the Art of War, The Art of War. I just found all these new books. Thoughts of a General, How to Win an Argument Every Time.
Okay, right here, I have the book, How to Argue and Win Every Time. He said how to win an argument every time, but he meant this book. This book was published in 1995. And this is the exact book that Tupac read back in 95 when he was maybe he was in jail when he read this. But I want to read something from this book when it comes to music. Let me see if I can quote the words again. It says, endless knowledge lies like hidden treasure to be gleaned if only the soul's ear will listen. Let the soul's ear tell us what it hears, then trust it. I am not speaking here of something mystical. I am merely giving full faith and credit, as it were, to the vast storehouse of knowledge with which we were born and have gathered in a lifetime. As we proceed through life, our reservoir of knowledge fills gradually, steadily, imperceptibly. Words are chosen, usually unconsciously, and how they come together, the syntax, the tone, the inflection with which the other flavor the words carries more information about what is being said and who is saying it than the words themselves. When I was a small boy, my mother used to say to me, you can tell who a person is the minute he opens his mouth. Okay, basically, through this one paragraph, this actually decodes how Tupac is conveying himself to his listeners. When he speaks, people actually hear the truth and they actually have a soul's ear. So that's why when he speaks to people, he can reach people through his music, because people have a soul's ear. They're listening to the soul of his music. And here, all right here says here, the meaning in music. If we listen, we can also hear the music that carries the words of those who speak to us. Everyone plays a certain music with their personal musical instrument, the vocal cords. Do they play alive and happy sounds, or sad and depressed ones? Interesting. Do they sound as if their throats are closing on the words to hold them back? Is their voice strong and affirmative, or weak and tentative? Do we hear music or the sound of the deadly monotonous machine? Do we hear sounds of anger, of aggression, of sorrow? Do the sounds match the words? Sounds from the voice are like light that is shown through a filter. The light takes on the color of the filter, and the sounds of the person take on the substance and mood of the person who authors them. Sometimes when I am listening to the final argument of my opponent, I lay my head back, close my eyes, let the words drift by, and focus only on the sounds. The sounds always carry the argument better than the words. The sounds betray the urgency, the sense of caring, the anger, the ring of truth, the power that can change the jury. If the sounds of the words, no matter how powerful the words may be, does not move me, it will not move the jury. Sounds carry the meaning. It is only when the sounds penetrate and prod and awaken that I take a note for rebuttal. Basically, what this right here is saying is that when Tupac spoke in his rap lyrics, is that he had to make his music so believable, so argumentative, that it would reach the listener as the soul's ear. It would reach the listener. Not only that, but he also had to convince himself. His music had to reach him before it could reach anybody else. That's why it says, no matter how powerful the words may be, if it does not move me, it will not move the jury. The jury is us, the people, the Tupac fans, us that love Tupac. We're listening to his music. We're the jury, and he's the lawyer presenting his case. In every song that you get, Tupac refers you back to a book he read, or a book that is contrary to what he speaks. So again, if he can't reach us, if his music cannot reach himself, if he cannot feel sad about his music, or he don't have no emotional attachment to his music, then it will not be emotionally attached to us. And this is what made him so great. And this is just, I'm just starting. This is just one paragraph that I read to you, and the other paragraph. That's it. You know, and all this is how Pac won an argument. Now, hold on. Before I continue, I want to also show you something that I found interesting. This is a book called The 48 Laws of Power. As you can see, it's messed up because I've had it for a long time. This book came out in 1998. The first edition came out in 1998. It was republished, I think, in 2001 or the year 2000. This book, 48 Laws of Power, also mirrors Machiavelli and how Tupac actually emulated some of the things that's in this book. Let me just read some things that I believe that it's a theory that Pac may have used some of these things that's in this book. Okay, Law 16, for instance. Use absence to increase respect and honor. Too much circulation makes the price go down. The more you are seen and heard from, the more common you appear. If you are already established in a group, temporarily withdrawal from it will make you more talked about, even more admired. You must learn when to leave. Create value through scarcity. Let me just say that I believe that Tupac is alive, but this right here proves that, I don't know if Tupac used it or not, but Law 16, using absence to increase respect and honor. Pac is all about that. Right now, everybody is talking about him, but he's not here physically. And he got so much respect and honor as a rapper from all rappers. So this 48 Laws of Power, like, it's still reaching Tupac, and also to create the theory, 1 + 6 is 7, the 16 right there. What else we got here that that Tupac probably may have used unintentionally. In this one, it says, recreate yourself. Do not accept the roles that society foists on you. Recreate yourself by forging a new identity, one that commands attention and never bores the audience. Be the master of your own image rather than letting others define it for you. Incorporate dramatic devices in your public gestures and actions. Your power will be enhanced and your character will seem larger than life. Again, I'm only reading the cover of these chapters. I haven't gone into the whole book and showed you the whole chapter, but this part right here, recreate yourself, Pac was using that as well. He went from Tupac to Machiavelli. And his image that he portrayed was the revolutionary image, made him seem larger than life because he was a more political, intelligent individual. And Pac, you could argue that Pac never read this book because it came out later, but I still believe Pac is alive, and I'm almost certain that he read this. If he is alive, he read this, because this actually is the exact definition of what he did when he got out of jail. He recreated his own self. He was Machiavelli. He was no longer going by Tupac, and even though Machiavelli that was the name he went by on Don Illuminati, he still said it in his raps prior to that album. So he was really trying to simulate that and make your accomplishments seem effortless. Now, I can rewind this interview and go back to when Pac was talking about how he dropped an album and he touched 2 million. Here, let me pause it and see if I can go back to where he said. Okay, I found it. This is where Tupac says he made his accomplishment seem effortless.
Niggas represent a threat. Because I worked too hard on this. And as far as hip-hop and all of that, I feel as though I'm not the god of hip-hop, but what we do on the West Coast, I sold 5 million in 2 months. Biggie album been out 2 years. He's barely touching 2 million. This nigga that had 50 remixes, 1,000. He got everybody in New York in his videos and still barely touching 2 million. I've been out 2 months. My shit sold 5 million with 2 videos out. I'm just starting. These niggas can't touch us.
Now, look, let me go back. Now, you heard him say that he sold 5 million on his record, and he only had 2 videos out. That goes back. Now, I could take you back to a book, take you back to 48 Laws of Power, and that shows where it says make your accomplishments seem effortless. That's Law 30. It says, let me read it right here. It says your actions will seem natural and executed with ease. All the toil and practice that go with them, which is repetition, and also all the clever tricks must be concealed. When you act effortlessly, as if you could do much more. Avoid the temptation of revealing how hard you work. It only raises questions. Teach no one your tricks or they will be used against you. So Pac knew this knowledge. And this book came out supposedly after Pac's death. So Pac was making all his accomplishments seem so effortless. Like, oh, right like that. 5 million. I put my music out, sold 5 million. And I know Mr. Phoenix Shakur even said that Pac wrote music very, very fast. And guess what? That takes us back to the book, 48 Laws of Power. It's in here somewhere. It says master the art of timing. Let me just pause this so I can find it. Once again, I found master the art of timing. Let me read to you what it says. It says, never seem to be in a hurry. Hurrying betrays a lack of control over yourself. And over time, always seem patient, as if you know that everything will come to you eventually. Become a detective of the right moment. Sniff out the spirit of the times, the trends that will carry you to power. Learn to stand back when the time is not ripe and to strike fiercely when it has reached fruition. Okay, remember, That's almost like saying when it says strike fiercely, it's almost like saying bomb first, and that's what Pac was all about, bombing first. When he dropped his albums, he did it so fast that it didn't even seem like he was in a hurry. And nearly all of Pac's songs would take you back to a book. This is exactly what he did. And again, I'm not even going to all the chapters and reading all this. I'm just reading the front part, and you get all of that out of that. So that's just one part. And let me show y'all something else. Okay, I'm not really going to get too much into Machiavelli's The Prince, but just take a look at the back. It says, he who does not manage his business will soon lose what he has acquired. So that's another fruitful thought, and Pac used that. I'm pretty sure he used that. He was a big fan of Machiavelli. So let me show y'all something else. Okay, I found this book. This book will be of great interest to y'all. It's called Writing Power. It was published on July 1st, 1997. July 1st, 1997. I'm going to tell you why that date is so important in a minute. But let me just go to where, and you guys will find this book very helpful because it actually emulates Pac's writing all the way down to a T. Let me just find. It says, Rule 2, be forceful when writing. This being forceful. Don't dilute your message. And it goes all into detail. And it says use active voice, like when writing and stuff like that. Let me just find one of the avoid vague language. Avoid vague language. It's a lot in here. Just give me one second. I found one of them. It's a whole book. And a lot of, again, this emulates Tupac's writing method all the way down to a T. It says use the active voice, and you can see the differences there. At the bottom it says here, however, rules are always exceptions. Here are a couple. What if you don't know who's taking the action, only the result? Then you're stuck with the passive voice. Sometimes, rarely, the passive voice actually supports your meaning, because you really want to emphasize the way the subject has been acted upon, and you're not particularly interested in who did the acting. Up there, it's also saying the active voice makes your writing sound more forceful. So this basically, on the other side it says don't say I unless you have to. Okay, basically, because I read this part already. I'm rushing this a little bit. Basically, in this Writing Power, this book that came out in 1997, it has just about everything listed of Pac's writing method is in this book. How to have a argumentative voice, or a passive voice, or a voice to influence the people in the audience. This is why this specific book was made for education, for schools and reports and proposals and essays, to write a good essay to convince, other people. But I don't know if the author Nancy White knew it or not, but she unintentionally, or probably intentionally, gave an entire blueprint on Tupac's writing method. And everything about this, communicate with confidence. I mean, this is what Pac was all about. And let me show y'all something very weird. Let me show y'all something really, really weird. Okay, this is the book itself. I ordered this off Amazon, and it was published. Again, it was published on July 1st, 1997. And I can't make this shit up. This is the book on another website. It was published on July 1st, 1997. This book was published on July 1st, 1997. Now, let me show you one more time, because I can't make this shit up. says copyright 1997. July 1997. It was published on the 1st though. But this book, this Kaplan book, was published 1 year and 15 days after Tupac's last birthday of June 16th, 1996. That is what makes it so coincidental that everything in that book is lining up with the way Tupac wrote his songs. It's real crazy. And I know I'm reaching a little bit far here, but let me just show y'all something else that's weird. That's crazy. I'm covering up my address, but if you look at the order ID, this is the actual book. If you look at the order ID, the book, if you look at those numbers up there, 619167, you can actually find Tupac's birthday within that order ID. Again, this book was published 1 year and 15 days after the fact, after Tupac's last birthday. Let me show y'all that I'm not bullshitting. Today is the 30th. Today is Thursday, the 30th of June. This is Tupac's birthday. If it was in 1996, all the way up to his birthday is 1 year. 1997, it's 1 year. I'm sorry, 1997, it would be 1 year after 1996. So you count from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, which is the publication date of 1997, July the 1st. So 1 year and 15 days after the fact, this book comes out. And it's the only edition of that book that came out that year of 1997. And it's barely in print. So I'm in this video by playing what the rest of Tupac got to say.
The buying of a president.
All the other books he read.
What's that book I got? The Russian guy? Stalin. I got that. Christopher Dark book. You'll Never Work Again in Hollywood. Whatever that is, where they talk about all the people that slept together. I'm reading that. A lot of different things, but mostly shit on what built generals and what made countries and what I want to read what Clinton did. Because he does the same shit I do, but don't, get in trouble. All his homeboys commit suicide. He get caught with his pants down in the bathroom, and this nigga is still the president. I got women, marching outside my shows. This nigga's the fucking president. I'm 24, he's 40. What's his excuse?
Selena? You respect Sadie? Who? Sadie?
Yeah, he's with us.
Yeah.
Aside from the fame and the money, what do you think you can offer someone in a relationship?
All right. But yeah. I got plenty of Tupac material to study, man. I told y'all, when people talking about they the spark brain, I'm actually studying this man to a T. I got the books, I got everything. So that's what it is. If you're a Pac fan, you need to be reading books, you need to be studying, you need to liberate yourself, you need to get all this knowledge you can get so that when you go write music, he would probably want you to talk about both the good and the bad. You gotta do that. You know what I'm saying? That's what's up, man.